So that's a reasonable question to ask. Why? Why build a bunch of instruments? And thing one is because it's fun. Thing two is that's an interesting way to get close to the source of music, the same reason that people want to grow their own food. They want to know where it comes from, and they want to have a real connection with it, instead of, like the other option would be to buy something in the store. And good instruments are expensive. Horn players will really know this. You can spend a lot of dough on a good saxophone. And that tends to force you into playing one instrument. You get identified with that, and perfectly natural. Like you went out and worked hard and bought this thing, and yeah, you're going to identify with it. But that's not all there is to how we respond to music. What do you do when you're a guitar player playing in a punk band, which is really fun, but you also like the music of Bartók and Stravinsky or something like that, that has all these colors in it and all these dimensions and sounds and possibilities that you don't have in your 3-4 piece band that you're playing with. And so that to go out and, if I were a millionaire, I'd go out and, buy a house full of instruments and have oboes and English horns and bassoons and anything, contrabass, clarinets, anything, I'd try them all out. I'd have a lot of fun with that, but I'm not a rich guy, so that wasn't available to me. Anyway, getting pushed down into one, which was what I did a lot of my life, and I played them hard, and I believe I played them pretty well. In a way, you feel disempowered. Like when you're a kid and you want to make music, even when you're grown up and you want to make music, you kind of hear music, and it has all kinds of possibilities to it. But then when you have your one instrument and you're, playing it, that just narrows down to what you can do with the people that you're doing it with. And that's a good thing. Some of the best times of my life are playing in bands. But it doesn't satisfy the whole thing, so that in a sense you've been kind of colonized a little bit, marginalized a little bit. This is all you get to do in music, even though you want to just make music generally. And so I always had that desire, I don't know about anybody else, but I always had that desire to play music, I guess with a small M or whatever you call it, just play music, rather than play a style of music, or rather than even just play a particular instrument. I've always liked listening to compositional music. I love Stravinsky, I love Debussy, Georgi Ligeti, I love that. And that just, you don't really get to do that with, playing guitar in a band or playing the saxophone in a band. No matter how hard you work and no matter how good the people that you play with are, so that unless you're privileged enough to go to a conservatory and get the approval of your professors or whatever they call them, and I know people that write music for symphony orchestras and it just sits there, it's never going to get played, for some people it does. But still, this having all these things at my disposal kind of lets me do that in a getaway, you know, in an autonomous. You know, I don't have to have some professor approve of me so that my thing gets played, and I don't have to buy, you know, $200,000 worth of instruments to do it with, but I still get to explore that part of my musical self that just kind of wants to make music. It doesn't care about what style it's in, and you know, that responds to my curiosity, because boy, there's just so much that can happen with sound, and if you limit it down to tiny little things, you stop even thinking about those other ones after a while. And that's a little bit of a disappointing life, I think. You know, if what you set out was to, you know, write the glorious ninth of Ludwig van, and and you end up playing, like, you know, I don't know, Holiday in Cambodia, that's not really what all that you set out to do. You know, and I love the DKs, I love Holiday in Cambodia, but, you know, I wouldn't want that to be the sum of what I did.